So if you're watching this video, you're probably trying to figure out how to get out of your on-campus math. Frankly, every school is a little different, every major is a little different. So there's a few things that you need to understand in order to make sure that you're doing something that's going to work for you. The more information you have, the better off you are. So let me run through a few things you got to know first, and then I'll ask you for a little bit of information, and then we'll try to customize a solution to help you get through all of your math without having to go do it on campus. So the first thing that you really need to understand is the difference between prereqs and the graduation requirement. And so a prerequisite is something that you have to do before you're allowed to go on to the next class. So for instance, you have to take Math 1010 before you can take Math 1050. Now there's other ways to meet the prerequisite. If you have a high enough SAT score or ACT score, then you can go straight into Math 1050. Or if you score high enough on the AccuPlacer test or ALEX, then you can go straight into Math 1050. But the problem is that a lot of people on their first week of school will come in, they'll take the AccuPlacer, and they'll find out, oh my gosh, I suck. And you might be good at math, but if someone just hands you a math test and it's been 2 years, for heaven's sake, you're not going to do well on that math test, right? So that's kind of what happens to a lot of people. They come in, they take this AccuPlacer, and they end up being placed into Math 950 or Math 990. And these numbers may change a little bit depending on which school you're at. It might be, 970 instead of 990. But now the concept is still the same. You place into lower level math that are the prerequisites before you're allowed to move on to do 1010 and do 1050 and actually meet your graduation requirement. And so a lot of schools will have 950, 990, 1010, and 1050. And 1050 meets the graduation requirement. And that might be 1050, 1030, 1040, 1080. These are all different ways to meet your graduation requirement. Now the thing is that the graduation requirement is also called quantitative literacy requirement, or some schools call it the quantitative reasoning requirement. And once you've done one of these classes, 1050, 1030, 1040, or 1080, once you've done one of those classes, now there's a few others too. I think trigonometry is offered at some of the schools. I think that one's 1060 if I remember right. Once you've done that, that never expires. And so we hear people that go off on a mission, an LDS mission, or buy a van and live the van life and become world famous Instagrammers and then come back. Or they go off and do summer sales and then they come back and say, hey, I did really well, I became a manager, and now I'm back to finish my degree. And they say, and my math credit has expired. Well, the truth is, it hasn't. It hasn't expired. The credit is still good. If you passed Math 1050, you've still met your graduation requirement. You can still graduate. But your major might require you to go above Math 1050. You might have to take business calculus or statistics or trigonometry, calculus 1. So depending on your major, you might have to go on in math. So your Math 1050 credit never expires. You've met your graduation requirement, your basic graduation requirement. But for your specific major, you might have to go on in math. And if you have to go on, then the Math 1050 expires as a prerequisite. So you've still met your graduation requirement if you had a different major. So if you switch from, say, business to dance, you become a dance major. Suddenly, you've met your graduation requirement. You have your QL requirement fulfilled. But if you do have to go on in math, then your credit has expired only in the sense that it doesn't work as a prerequisite anymore to go on, and then you have to refresh your prereq. Now the biggest problem is that when you get in and you take your placement test, and they put you down at 950, 990, or even 1010, each of these classes is going to cost you about $1,000 in tuition and books. So altogether, right here, you're looking at about $4,000 in tuition and books. And I wish that was all. It's not. The truth is so much worse. Each of these classes only has about a 50% pass rate. That means it's not likely that you're going to go through only those 4 classes and be done. You're probably going to have to retake 1 or 2, maybe 3. And in that case, a lot of our students tell us, hey, look, I had to do 6 math classes on campus, and now I'm coming to you guys. 6 classes is $6,000 in tuition and books. Because if you don't pass, you have to pay again. And that's where we're different. With us, if you don't pass, we give you your money back or we let you come again for free. We have found a way to help you get through all of your on-campus math in 1 semester. And in fact, if you feel really confident in math and you feel like you just need a refresher, we have a half-semester class that'll get you all the way through your math in 1 semester guaranteed. If you don't pass, we give you back your money. And the way we do that is by helping you go back and retake the AccuPlacer or the ALEX. We get you ready to go back and test higher. That lets you skip from 950 straight into 1010 or straight into 1050. And if you don't get at least 1 class higher, we give you back your money. We also have an option that works for some schools that will let you do transfer credit. So by taking your math through an online class from another school, you can then transfer the credit to your school, and that will fulfill your QL requirement. So you do 1 class instead of 4 or instead of 6. So it saves you thousands and thousands of dollars. You graduate sooner, it gets you into the workplace sooner, because that's the real cost of math. It's not just the tuition. It's the fact that you're sitting in school behind a desk instead of being out earning the big bucks after you graduate. You know, if you can make $15 an hour after you graduate, and I think McDonald's is starting at like $13 an hour right now. If you can make $15 an hour, 1 extra semester in school costs you $10,000 in lost wages. And so if we can get you out of your math and get you into the career that you want that much quicker, think of all the money you save. So fill out the form and give us a little more information. I'll send you an individualized video specific to your situation that will help you know how to get out of all your math requirements on campus that makes sense for you, that's a good fit for you. So yeah, fill out the form and we'll be in touch. We'll send you a video and let's do it. I mean, 1 in 6 of our students report that they either have dropped out or plan to drop out because of their math requirement. In fact, that's how we got started. My best friend from high school came to me and said he was planning on dropping out. He would have been the first math graduate from his family. First college graduate from his family ever. And he was going to drop out. And we started this program to help him. And now he's my tax attorney. So you can do it too. He's making way more money as a tax attorney than he would have made if he would have dropped out and kept working in a factory. And that was his other option. So yeah, don't do it. Don't give up. Stay in school. Give us a call. Let us help you graduate.